Hey y'all, it's Kiki. Welcome back to my channel. A few weeks ago, I just started a new position at my job. I'm still at the same job, but I'm just working in a different department. That whole week that I started that new job, I was just so happy, y'all. I was like damn near bouncing off the walls. So that weekend comes and something happened, right? And my whole mood just went just like out the window. I went from being like just super happy, super like peaceful, super content, to being like I just was feeling like I don't understand why I can't just be happy. Like why something has to come and just piss me off and just snatch my happiness away. It only lasted for like 20 minutes, the feeling did. But because I was on such a high and then that little low came, I just felt like, oh my God, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never just going to just have a peaceful week or in a positive moment. I'm just going to always be sad. Girl, it gave very much victim. I talked to my therapist. She was just like, so why do you think that bad things always happen to you? And I was like, because like it just seems like I just can't never be happy, like consistently. I just always just gotta be bothered by something, or something just always gotta come and just rip my happiness away. She was like, okay, but other than that, did anything else like just really just send you into a depression or a sadness, or was it just that one thing? I think about like the whole entire week. Out of the whole week, was it just that one thing that pissed you off? And I was like, yeah, like I was happy the whole entire week until that one thing happened. And then I realized, like, out of a whole 7 days, 6 days you had some great days. This one day came and it just rained on your whole parade. It didn't ruin my entire day. I just was mad for like 20 minutes, but I was so angry. I was so pissed. I was being dramatic. I was being hella dramatic. But I thought about it like, my life isn't bad. And I don't fall victim to just bad things and negative things in life. The fact of the matter is, life goes up and down. What you focus on will continue to focus on you. It's not that bad things continue to happen to you. It's the fact that you focus on those bad things. And that's why you think you keep being a victim of some type of like bad karma or some juju, some shit like that. When in reality, you're just focusing on the bad things. So it seems like bad things continue to happen. So I was like, okay, you know what? I just need a shift in my mindset. My mindset is just all wrong. You're not a victim. You're nobody's victim. So there's no sense in even trying to be one, because you're not one. A lot of the things that I go through, or a lot of the things that end up happening, are simply just consequences of my own decisions. It's not that God is punishing me or the universe is sending me bad energy. It's the fact that I made a decision that wasn't so great. It wasn't the best decision for me, and now I'm reaping the repercussions. Like,
What?
the repercussions. I'm living in the repercussions. Like, I'm reaping the repercussions. I'm just dealing with the consequences of my own actions. That's just what that is. Sometimes, like, you try to blame everybody else or every little thing, but it's like, maybe we just need to sit back and just look in the mirror and just think, no, I'm going through this because I made the wrong decision. I am dealing with a heartbreak because I chose to date a person who just was not for me. You know, I'm struggling with losing weight because I just refuse to eat how I'm supposed to eat. I just refuse to work out how I'm supposed to work out. You know what I'm saying? It's not that bad things are happening to you. You just are not really making decisions that are best for you, and you're not thinking maybe towards the future. You're thinking about the now. That's what I had to really sit down and just really accept. One thing that I feel like everybody can agree on is the fact that everybody goes through things. Everybody has lessons to learn. Everybody deals with some sort of heartbreak, betrayal, being lied to. But I just found that instead of looking at it as just the worst thing that's ever happened to me, I just genuinely believe that everything happens for a reason. That life is full of lessons, and unless you get the lesson and you learn from your mistakes, you're just gonna keep living in the same cycle over and over again. So then you have no one to blame, because you could have got it right, because you done been through this all, so many times. So there's really no one to blame when you are the only reason why you are continuing the same cycles and continuing the same bad habits and making the same poor decisions. Like, I know for me, I've sat back and just been like, I just really, really wish this was not my life right now. Like, I just really wish this is not what I was dealing with right now. I wish this is not what I was going through. But years have gone by, and I look back at the situation and I'm like, even though in that moment I was not feeling good in it, like it didn't feel good, I was at my lowest point, I was just so sad, I was just depressed. Everything that happened needed to happen so that I could really see, you know, the world for what it is, and just see, not only see people for who they are, but also see the things that I had never seen in myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the things that I thought that I did not have, or some things that I thought that I was not strong enough to get through. I had the strength the whole time. I had the mindset, I had the intelligence, you know what I'm saying? But when you in it, you're not thinking like that. It's like, oh my God, I just don't want to be in this no more. I don't want to deal with this no more. I just want to run from it. But I am somebody who is going to look at this camera and say, the last thing you want to do is run from a problem. As somebody who has ran from every problem, what? She's a runner, she's a track star. I mean, because you know, you don't want to face it. All those different feelings come up, these emotions come up, it's just those feelings that aren't comfortable. They come up and you don't want to deal with them. I know I didn't want to deal with them, but I found that once I faced them, I dealt with the emotions, and then I got on the other side. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. It was like, all I was just waiting for is to just address whatever I was running from, and just address those bad things or that one situation that was just so terrible. So I said all of that to say, everything happens for a reason, and we go through the lessons that we go through for a reason. What you take away from it is important, and how you look at it is also important, because it kind of sets the tone for how you go throughout the rest of your life. If you look at it thinking everything always happens to me, everybody is always hurting me, then don't be surprised when it happens again, because that your whole mindset is just about being the victim and being the one who is on the other end of like all the bad things that are happening. Sometimes when we go through things with people, even though they may have done us wrong in whatever way, we played a part in it, whether we want to admit it or not. Something in you knew that was kind of going to happen, or something in you knew that was the person for you, but you chose to pursue it anyway. I know for me, I had a huge habit of like ignoring my intuition or like psyching myself out. So it was like, whenever I felt in my gut that somebody was not supposed to be around me, whether it was somebody that I was dating, somebody that I was friends with, a coworker, something like anything. Whenever I felt in my gut that somebody was not supposed to be around me, I would turn around and try to psych myself out like, no, you're overthinking it. That's not true. Like, they do like you. They do mean you well. You know, I would try to convince myself. And then later on down the line, I realized my gut was telling the truth the whole entire time. My gut was right the entire time, right? So while I ended up being hurt by this person, I also had to accept and admit to myself that, but you knew something was off with this person. You didn't know exactly what it was, and you didn't know what they were going to do, but something in you knew that this situation wasn't right. Something in you knew that this relationship was off. Something in you knew that this friendship was just odd, but you went with it anyways. So it's, of course, you have those feelings of being hurt, and I don't want to dismiss those, because of course you need to address those as well, but you also need to address the part that you play in it also. Hey y'all, I just wanted to clear this up in case it was any type of confusion. When I say take responsibility for your part, I'm saying accept the fact or acknowledge the fact that you went against your better judgment and then ended up dealing with the person or in a situation that wasn't the best for you. Not saying that because you went against your better judgment, you deserved what happened to you. But if something in you knew it wasn't best for you, and you did it anyways, you have to acknowledge that maybe the next time around, it's best to trust your intuition than to overthink yourself into an unhealthy situation. that kind of leads me to another point. This is something that I struggled with since I was a little something. And I still have my moments to this day, but I find that taking things personally is one of like the biggest problems we could like ever have as like a society, as a human race. Sometimes when things are done to us, we think out of like, how could you do me like this? Because I wouldn't do you like that. How could you say this to me? How could you do this to me, you know? And we make it seem like there was something in us that made the situation turn out the way that it did. When in most cases, in almost every case, the reason why the person did what they did is because, for one, it was just in that person to be that way. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Doesn't mean that you were not the right type of person for them and you didn't do enough and you weren't the best friend and weren't the best girlfriend or boyfriend. That's just simply who they are. The moment you take it personally, then you take the responsibility off of them and you place it onto you. And now you done dug yourself into a deeper hole. And now it's just feeling like your own personal hell, because it's like you're just so focused on what was done to you and why it was done to you, rather than seeing it as that's just who they are. Like, there's nothing I can change about them. There's nothing that's gonna make them different. There's nothing I can say or do that's gonna make them different. They just are who they are. I've always struggled with taking things personal, because for me, especially when I was younger, I felt like I needed to like either prove something, or whenever something was said about me, even if it wasn't true, I just felt the need to like be hella defensive. And I get that. I totally understand it, because you don't want people lying on you. I get that. But they knew it was a lie when they said it. You know it's a lie. What do we have to prove? They knew what the goal was when they said that. They knew it was to get up under your skin. They knew it was to get a reaction out of you. They knew exactly what they were doing. And the moment that you feed right into it, the moment that you react, the moment you blow up, the moment you start trying to defend yourself and just trying to go in, you take that off of that person and you put it onto you. And they've done their job. They did exactly what their mission was. Their mission was accomplished. And now you the one sitting up in your room overthinking. Your mind is running. You can't sleep because of something somebody said that was not true. And now you're trying to figure out what would make them lie on you, and why would they lie? And now somebody else is going to believe it. Who gives a damn? Stop taking things personally. Nothing anybody says can stop you from being who you are. Nothing anybody does can stop you from going where you need to go. So why take it personally? It wasn't for you. And a lot of the times when people show their ass, they just show you who they are. You just gotta accept it and move on. You ain't gotta bicker back and forth with them. Another thing that is a big one for me, and I think for a lot of people, everybody's different, but not everybody takes rejection well. You know, hearing the word no, being rejected doesn't feel good. But again, it's all about mindset. While you were fixated on this thing that you wanted so bad and you ended up getting rejected, there's no telling what is lined up next for you. It could be 10 times better. It could be 10 times more worth it. You never know. I feel like the older that I'm getting, especially now that I'm 25, as somebody who will rarely try to go after things, especially things that were outside of my comfort zone, I would rarely go after things because I didn't want to hear no. It would make me feel like I wasn't worthy enough, like I wasn't good enough, like I lacked in some areas, like I wasn't intelligent enough, like I was inadequate in some way. I felt like, well, damn, if you telling me no, then that means everything that I thought I was, I'm not. When that's not true. I have just now recently understood and gotten the expression, rejection is God's protection. I'm a firm believer in that, because I'm also a believer of what's for you is for you. If this thing that you want so badly is meant for you, then it will find you. And if it's not meant for you to have, you won't have it. It doesn't mean defeat. And I think like when it came to rejection, I would look at it like that. Because what Aaliyah say? Dust yourself off and try again. One thing we know, and I've heard this from so many people in so many different industries. You're gonna hear no more than you hear yes. That's just a fact. The question is, how bad do you want it? Because if you go after something for the first time and hear no and automatically give up, oh my God, that's when you failed. You didn't fail because they told you no. You didn't fail because they rejected you. You failed because you gave up. It leads me to my next point of things aren't happening to you. They are happening for you. I just want to be as realistic as possible because it's easy to say that, but then once you are going through something, you're dealing with something, it's like, nah, girl, this feel like this happening to me. Just sit back and just picture, like, just think about where you are right now and just think about where you were years ago. Even if it was a year ago, even if it was 5 years ago, right? Just think about what a situation that you were going through that you did not think that you were going to get out of. And now come back to the present moment and look where you are now. Because of that situation, you learned from it, you applied it, and it's gotten you where you are right now. It may not look like it in the present moment, but your future self is always like, okay, I get it. I get why I went through that heartbreak at the age of 18. I get why, I lost this friend and that friend. I get why, I lost this job. I get it. Maybe in that moment you don't get it, but as time goes on and you sit back and you really think about the things that you've been through, the things that you survived, it's like, oh, okay, like I totally get it. There's no way in hell that you cannot tell me that something that you went through that you clearly know is a lesson, you didn't get anything out of it. You cannot tell me that you didn't get anything out of it, that you didn't learn anything about yourself, about the world, about whoever you were dealing with maybe at the time, about people in general. You learned something, and because you learned that thing, you now move a bit different. You see things differently. You go about life a bit different. So everything is working out for you. And unless you change your mindset, everything is going to always be happening to you instead of for you. Period. It's the last thing that I want to say. This is perfect because I'm going to wrap up this video. And I said it at the beginning, I'm going to repeat it. Whatever you focus on is going to focus on you. So the more you focus on the bad things, the more the bad things are going to find you. And they're going to be lined up right at your door. And I don't think people like realize that. When I say people, me included, I don't think people realize the power of just like having faith and just really believing. When you believe something to be true, that's where all of your power goes. That's where all of your energy goes. That's where your focus goes. You're not always going to have super duper great days. You're not always going to have bad days. But out of the whole 30 days out of a month, if you only had 3 days, 3 bad days, and 27 good days, do you really have a bad life? It's all about how you look at things. And it's all about what you spend your time thinking about and focusing on. I said all of that to say you are not a victim. You are just simply a person just going through regular life experiences. You're not the first person to go through it, and you're not going to be the last. I think the most important thing when it comes to going through life in general is to make sure you have a good support group around you, a good supportive circle, whether that's friends, families, coworkers, whoever, people who support you, who lift you up, who say the things that you need to hear at that moment, who really uplift you, and people who don't help you wallow in self-pity, people who don't push you down further in your own sorrows and your own miseries, people who are going to pull you up out of it. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informational and helpful, because that's the goal. Please don't forget to leave a comment down below. I love a good conversation. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.